Have you ever wondered why the same things keep happening to you? Or why some people seem to get everything they want, while others struggle? What if I told you there's a universal law at play, like a boomerang, ensuring that every thought, word, and action you send out comes flying right back to you? Welcome back to Frequency Chapters. Today, we are continuing our journey into the timeless classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It, by the incredible Florence Scovel Shinn. We're diving deep into one of the most powerful chapters yet. Chapter 5, The Law of Karma and the Law of Forgiveness. So, what is this law? Shinn explains that karma is a Sanskrit word for comeback. It's the principle of sowing and reaping. What you give, you get. She shares a story about a friend who was often irritable with her aunt. One day at dinner, she snapped, "No more talk. I wish to eat in peace." The very next day, while trying to impress someone important, she was cut off with the exact same words. "No more talk. I wish to eat in peace." The universe doesn't have a sense of humor about this. It just reflects what we put out. This brings up a crucial point. The more you know, the more responsible you are. If you understand these spiritual laws but don't apply them, the consequences can be more severe. As the book says, the fear of the Lord or law is the beginning of wisdom. It's not about a vengeful God, but an impartial law. The law brings vengeance, not a divine being. God sees you as perfect, but you can only become what you see yourself becoming. Your imagination sets the stage for your reality. Shinn warns us about the immense power of desire and the dangers of using personal will to force things. She tells a story of a woman who desperately wanted a specific house owned by an acquaintance. She constantly visualized herself living there. Eventually, the owner passed away, and she got the house. But her victory was hollow. Soon after, her own beloved husband died, and the house became a source of misery. She paid a heavy karmic debt. Instead of forcing her will, she should have asked for the right house. Mine by divine right. This aligns our desires with the divine plan, ensuring a harmonious outcome for everyone involved. When you try to force things, you get what Shinn calls ill-got goods that bring bad success. The key is to let go of personal will and say, "Thy will be done." When you do that, paradoxically, you often get exactly what you truly desired, but in a way that brings peace, not chaos. This leads to the concept of standing still. It's about releasing control and trusting a higher power. Shinn describes a mother frantic with worry because her daughter was determined to take a dangerous trip. The more the mother resisted and argued, the more rebellious the daughter became. Shinn advised her to stop forcing her will and instead turn the situation over to infinite love and wisdom. The mother used the affirmation, "If this trip is the divine plan, I bless it and no longer resist. But if it is not divinely planned, I give thanks that it is now dissolved." Within a couple of days, her daughter calmly announced she had given up the trip. By letting go, the mother allowed the situation to resolve itself perfectly. But what about our past mistakes? What about the negative karma we've already created? This is where the second part of the chapter comes in. The law of forgiveness. Shinn argues that we are not doomed to endlessly suffer for our past actions. Christianity and most religions are founded on this very principle. The God within each of us is our redeemer from the curse of karmic law. Through the law of forgiveness, we can operate under grace and not under law. She illustrates this with a fascinating story. A woman came to her, upset because she'd received a counterfeit $20 bill from her bank. Shinn asked her to reflect on why she might have attracted this. The woman remembered that she had recently sent fake stage money to a friend as a joke. The law, not understanding jokes, simply returned the energy. So, what did they do? They called upon the law of forgiveness. They affirmed, "Infinite Spirit, we call on the law of forgiveness and give thanks that she is under grace and not under law, and cannot lose this $20 which is hers by divine right." Armed with this new consciousness, the woman went back to the bank. Instead of an argument, she was met with an apology and a new bill. This shows that a knowledge of these laws gives us the power to rub out our mistakes. Finally, Shinn ties all of this into our financial reality. To attract wealth, you must first be rich in consciousness. If you desire abundance but live in chaos and disorder, you're sending mixed signals. She tells of a woman asking for prosperity whose home was a mess. Shinn's advice was simple but profound. If you wish to be rich, you must be orderly. You will never become rich with a burnt match in the pincushion. The woman took the advice to heart, organized her home, and soon after received a large financial gift. She aligned her external reality with the prosperity she desired. She also challenges the mindset of hoarding. Saving out of fear leads to loss, while giving and spending wisely fearlessly opens the door to increase. She tells of a man who, despite having limited funds, intuitively bought an expensive coat, feeling it would help him make a ton of money. A month later, he landed a $10,000 commission. The coat was an investment in a feeling of wealth, which then attracted actual wealth. Faith must precede the demonstration. In essence, Chapter 5 teaches us that while the law of karma is real, what you sow, you reap. It is not an inescapable prison. By understanding and applying the higher law of forgiveness, by aligning our will with the divine plan, and by cultivating a consciousness of what we desire, we can transcend cause and effect. We can move from a plane of consequence to a plane of grace, where all that the kingdom affords is His. We can overcome the world's thought patterns of lack and limitation, and step into a reality of freedom, joy, and abundance. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration. The wisdom in this book is truly life-changing. If you found value in this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Frequency Chapters, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We'll see you next time as we continue our journey.